Good evening, everyone. At this time, the Suffolk Public Schools work session will now be called to order. We will move forward with our first item, which is the Suffolk Public Schools 2022-2023 Climate and Culture Survey results. Dr. Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Riddick. I'm going to move down to the podium. Dr. Branch, our Chief Academic Officer, will start the beginning of this presentation, and I will do the remainder. Then we'll open up to board members for questions at the end.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, school board members, and Dr. Gordon. As Dr. Gordon mentioned, I will open up our presentation on the SPS Climate and Culture Survey results for 2022-2023. Our agenda will include the construction of the survey, which will be inclusive of who was involved, the stakeholder groups, the time frame, etc. We'll also share with you perceptions from each of the 4 primary groups that this survey was disseminated to, and then our feedback and growth for 2023-2024. Our Climate and Culture Survey traditionally is administered during the month of March. This year it was March 7th through March 31st. Our staff, all employee groups who receive, and parent groups who receive the survey, receive information on the survey time frame, the link, information about it, and if there is a request or need for paper versus the online version. The participants are all SPS employees, instructional and support groups. Our students in the transitional grades of 5 and 6, 8 and 9, and grade 12, and all of our parents receive the survey. We do an online survey, which is done through SurveyMonkey, a survey tool. It is an anonymous survey. Parents, students, nor staff are identified in the survey. Once they select based on their group, their category, which group they're in, they receive the specific survey. The survey items are pretty much the same amount for each group. For the staff, it's 43 questions, students 44, and parents 41. Mr. Dickerson, Sean Dickerson, who is our coordinator of data and research, collects all of this information and has provided for us the last 3 years of climate and culture survey participation rates. You will note that staff and student increased since 2021-2022, as well as 2022-2023 for students. This year, our parent numbers, their participation and feedback decreased over the last 3 years. I'll turn it over to Dr. Gordon.
All right, thank you, Dr. Branch. As I begin to get into the different employee groups and some of the perceptions, I want to make the board and school community aware that adjustments had to be made for survey questions in order to match our new strategic plan. That was the main change that we had to make because of our strategic plan going into effect mid-year in January. As I go through these next few slides, you will see areas that I have highlighted in red, any areas of growth in green, and those areas in red will also give you indications of the feedback and growth for the 23-24 school year that Dr. Branch discussed. So 98% of our division-based administrators really feel proud to work in a division. And as you know, we've had a strong emphasis on leadership since our current administrative team has been brought into place. Dr. Bird, our chief of schools, has done a great job in developing a leadership framework with our theme being the art of inclusive leadership. We were also extremely happy that you saw 94% of our school-based support staff, which includes clerical, custodial, cafeteria, and nursing, felt that they had everything that they need to effectively and efficiently do their job. 93% of our school-based support staff felt that our safety procedures are followed. We know that keeping our staff and our students safe is one of our primary goals, and 90% of our employees felt that their individual differences are respected. This has been a huge area that Dr. Brown's team and the Administrative Services Department has focused on since he took over in that role. These two areas that you see in red are some of the things that we want to continue to grow on, even though we have had growth in this area as compared to last year. 73% of our employees felt that they are involved in decisions that impact their work. Anything that I basically saw that was below 85%, I'm going to use as a thumbnail or a footnote for an area of growth. 72% of employees felt that their concerns are resolved in a timely manner. That is something that we've had conversations with not only our building level administrators, but also our human resources team. And I think one of the things that we're going to try to do a better job of explaining the entire process. With us living in the information age, many times our staff members want things resolved that same day, but investigations do need to occur. As we take a look at our instructional staff perceptions, 94% of teachers communicate with parents about student progress. That has been a goal since day one. And we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, not just the report cards or the progress reports. We're talking about using Canvas. We're talking about making sure that they are pointing them towards HAC, as well as parent-teacher conferences and other forms of communication. 93% of school-based instructional staff felt that they are held accountable for student learning. This is goal two. This is goal two that we've always spoken about, and our instructional staff understands the importance of not only making sure that we're giving our students top class and premier education, but they also know there's going to be a level of accountability associated with that. 88% felt that they are empowered to impact student achievement. When we develop our curriculum instruction models, when we develop the templates for lesson plans, it then turns over to the instructional staff to have autonomy in how that's going to be implemented. We use best practices, but we also want to make sure that we do not stifle instructional staff's creativity. But 74% of instructional staff felt that community resources and volunteers are being used to support. You can see that I have in green here, that's actually up 8% from last year. And some of this is we still were limiting volunteers and some support coming into our buildings. This was something that we actually talked to our principals as well as our teachers. Not everybody was comfortable. Even as the COVID numbers began to drop, instructional staff was very concerned with someone coming into their classrooms and potentially creating a positive situation. 72% of high school parents were encouraged to participate in family engagement programs. It's at 72%, but last year it was at 63%. So as we continue to take a look at the feedback and growth from previous years, you can see that we're growing in these areas and we still have more work to do. Let's talk about parent perceptions. Parents feel that schools utilize technology for learning. Mr. Littlefield is the guru of this, and you all know we have probably spent more money when it comes to instructional technology than any other area. They also felt that their parents felt that their students knew that they had to work hard, 93%. I mean, these are great numbers that we're looking at. And they also felt that our division's facilities support student learning. When you all hired me in October 2019, that was one of the first focuses that I talked about, the infrastructure of our buildings. Not only was it the way that our schools and classrooms looked, but actually how the engagement is occurring within the classrooms, and our parents feel that we've done that. 80% felt that there was an increased opportunities for family community volunteerism. I just gave you all the same reasons, but that is up from 7%. Elementary school parents felt that cafeteria expectations are improved. That's at 80%. So we're getting there, but that's up from 69% from last year. 78% of middle school parents felt an increase in discipline. 7% is in red. That means it's dropped. This is going to be a focus area for us. And many of the things that we're putting in place for our middle schools, we need to make sure that we have fidelity in it being implemented. We have some staff members, unfortunately, that aren't using some of our PBI strategies or skipping the steps of not wanting to have parent communication and just automatically going to writing a referral. That needs to stop at the middle school level. 77% of high school parents felt the community was informed about school programs and activities. That's high school. So one of the conversations that Ms. Diggins and I have is part of the reason why we actually changed some of the things that we've done with our new website and also revising our mobile app. One of the concerns that we had is only one of our high schools actually had a mobile app. We want to try to have more uniformity with everything coming from the school division. Let's talk about our kids, our student perceptions. 95% of our students know that what behavior is expected. Now, knowing what behavior is expected and actually having them follow it is two different things sometimes. But the fact that they know it actually helps us when it comes time to have some of those difficult and courageous conversations. 91% of students felt they are provided what they need to learn. That goes back to our infrastructure. That goes back to our resources. That goes back to the plans that we're actually using in class, as well as having the ability to reinforce learning at home. 90% of students expected to work hard and do their best. That's half the battle right there, when you have that intrinsic motivation and expectation. But back to our middle schools here, because you all can see a theme. 71% of middle school students, this is key, 71% of middle school students felt their parents were encouraged to be involved in learning. That's how the kids were feeling about their parents. That's up 5% from last year. Now, we know that middle school is a very, very challenging age, but we have to make sure that that parent engagement still occurs and that the kids can kind of help us out with encouraging the parents to get involved. High school students, 71% again, felt that teachers have improved in letting students know they can do better in school. That's a support. And here's the challenge. Many times some of our high school staff members look at the size of the student or the age of the student and automatically treat them as an adult. They're still developing. And so the kids are telling us right here they need more positive reinforcement from our high school staff. But this is up 6% from last year. And 64% of high school students felt an increase in being recognized for their achievements. Dr. Lee and Dr. Bird have had several conversations with our principals. You can see that increase. That was 56% last year. That increase, but we're still not where we need to be of celebrating our kids. So when you take a look at all of those themes, there's a few others that I wanted to be able to mention to you all because I didn't want to put and jumble too many things on one slide. Students treating each other with respect. Look at how our kids feel about each other. If you ask our administrators, if you ask our teachers, many times if it's not social media, the first thing the kids will say is that someone disrespected me. We got to have those conversations. This is part of the reason why we try to have more restorative practices so they can actually empathize and understand how the other student is feeling. Schools being kept clean by students. Not kept clean, but kept clean by students. That's a respect factor. Kids were actually upset when they were seeing students leaving their trash behind or littering. This data tells us that. And parent perceptions of student safety at the secondary level, 71%. We know, and this is part of the reason why we were very proactive, we know that school safety is the topic right now, which has always been, but unfortunately traumatic events have magnified all of that. And because those traumatic events, besides the one recently in the area, have predominantly happened at the secondary level, this is why those parent perceptions are there. Support staff want more opportunities to exercise leadership. That's at 80%. Folks, we've already checked that box. We've checked that box with Mr. Skinner and Ms. Forsman with the creation of the STAR program, being able to get our support staff more professional learning activities. We were proactive as we were trying to kind of incorporate this from some of the feedback we got last year. Departmental administrators want concerns resolved efficiently, 79%. This is the same type of situation that I saw on the previous slide. We have to do a better job of explaining the process. I think that's what it really comes down to, the process. We have a rule for communication of 24 to 48 hours, but that doesn't mean that an investigation will be done in 24 to 48 hours. Instructional staff want instructional time protected. Hey, that was the whole plan of our budget. So we're going to try to address that too. Hopefully with a positive vote tonight to get that part back with the 62 teacher assistants that we want to add for next year. And transportation staff also want more professional development opportunities. Dr. Brown and Mr. Privet are already on that. They are on, and conversation I actually had with Chair Riddick, he asked me, he said, so what opportunities do they want? And that's the first question we want to ask, because it's not only about how to be able to drive a bus better, but it's also about the ability to be able to matriculate and move your way up the ladder. I got that answer for you there, Mr. Riddick. So ladies and gentlemen, that is our climate and culture survey results from Dr. Branch and myself. At this point in time, we will open it up for questions.
Thank you, Board Chair Riddick. Thank you very much for your presentation. When I was looking over the information that you have here, I know you both mentioned, or I think you mentioned, Dr. Branch, that there were roughly 40 to 43 questions per category, depending upon who is taking it. Is there an opportunity that we could see the percentages tied in with all the questions that have been asked of the staff, the parents, the students, What we have on here, right here, is great. There's about 6 questions per category that you've given percentages on, which is about 15% of what was actually answered in the climate survey. And then I see the summary for the growth feedback. Is it possible to get all of the questions that were asked with the percentages that came in as the feedback from these different individual groups?
So you want to see the percentages for each question?
Sure, yes.
So
That's
what I provided you all was the information that we studied for the executive summary.
Okay.
And I don't believe it is prudent or necessary for the board to be able to see each individual question. The way we work this, Ms. Slingleff, and I do want to take the time to kind of explain it. Once we have those questions, as you mentioned, that are actually under one category, we look for the common themes. And in some of our questions that we have, there's really only one question that relates to that one particular topic. And those are the things that we discuss as a staff, as an administrative group, to try to be able to address. But we wanted to be able to give the board the big picture items and the main areas of focus. If we began to get into each individual question, I think that's a little too deep for a board member to be able to delve into.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Gordon. Board members, are there any additional questions? I do have a question. I wanted to give all board members an opportunity to ask their questions first. And I don't know if this may be redundant or not, but regarding the parent engagement aspect where it says 72% of high school parents were encouraged to participate in family engagement programs. I don't know if it's going to come in a later time or not, but is there data that's going to be available that breaks it down by the school so we know which areas we know which areas our division is working towards to increase parent engagement?
Yeah, one of the things we'll be able to do, Mr. Riddick, is kind of give you some feedback by level. I know that you and I have had some conversations about what else can we do, especially at that level. And I think that the main challenge for the message that we want to be able to reinforce is, even though they are high school students, they still need you to be engaged. And they can't just be engaged this time of year when we're looking for graduation tickets or status of graduation. Our focus is going to be to try to be able to generate the same level of excitement that we see at our athletic events for community engagements. And one of the conversations that we've actually had with our team is, how can we incentivize parents to come out to events? We know that in many cases, the parents that come to our parent-teacher conferences are usually the students that are doing very, very well. We want to try to be able to make sure that everybody is feeling like it's something important to do. So I think what we're going to try to end up doing is using some of those more popular things. If you come to this, then we will give you maybe this free ticket to a game or something of that nature. We have to find other ways to incentivize our parents besides just feeding them, but we also have to make sure that they understand that that parent engagement cannot drop off once you get to the high school level.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gordon. I see we have one board member with a question. Is there any board member with a question? So after this board member asks their question, we're going to move on to the next presentation. Is there any other board member with a question? Okay. Board member Brittingham. There we go.
Thank you, Board Chair Rick. My question for you has to do with the data and the trends that we're seeing with the middle school. All right, so we have copious amount of data right now that is telling us that there are issues happening in middle school, not just in one area, but in multiple areas when it comes to the students and the educators. So my question is, now that we have the survey that confirms that as well, what is our movement forward? Like, what is the plan at this point to resolve this? Because no learning is happening in the classroom where discipline is not under control.
So it's two parts to that. I think you got to be careful, Dr. Brittingham, in saying it's happening everywhere, because it's not, you know. But to your point, middle school is the focus. What we do anytime, we share the same climate data with the principals, and they actually have their individual school information, kind of similar to what Ms. Slingleff was asking about. the administrative team meets with the principals because whatever the areas of concerns are becomes the main component besides the instructional side of their school improvement plans for next year. So if we see things such as teachers are feeling disrespected by students, then we begin to have additional conversations with the staff, and then that also becomes the focus of the leadership teams within the building, where they try to determine what was effective, what worked. Was this a specific grade? Was this a specific time of year? Before you got on the board, Dr. Brown and Mr. Boone actually gave a presentation, and the area or the time frame that we were actually the most concerned about was the month of March, which just so happens to be the same time that this survey goes out. Well, Dr. Brown actually had let us know that for the first time in a long time, discipline actually went down in the month of March as compared to previous years because we talked about the month of March with the administrators after he gave that presentation in November. So the entire summer, that's one of the things that they actually focus on. All of our principals take a look at the data. They develop their plans for the entire summer. Dr. Lee and Ms. Pichon and Dr. Burr review those plans and give them feedback because we have to make sure that it's evidence-based as well as data-driven. Then we have those checkpoints. Dr. Brown's team actually has counts of referrals each month. And where we're seeing spikes, especially in some of those areas that can lead to some other things, that's when Dr. Brown's team goes in. This is when Dr. Bird and Dr. Lee and Ms. Pichon end up having individual conversations, and then we actually will attend those leadership team meetings to make sure we get the feedback from the staff. And then on my end, I then get the feedback from the students and my Superintendent's Advisory Council. And I will ask them, is this happening in your building? Or what are some of the main challenges that you're seeing that's causing us to lose some of that instructional time that you mentioned? So that's been our process, which is the reason why you've seen our discipline data go down. When they did that presentation, we were down thousands as compared to the year before. The main thing right now, however, Dr. Brittingham, is our students' ability to cope. That's what we're seeing is a challenge. Our students aren't coping as well as they did pre-pandemic. And that's part of the reason why we put some additional strategies, why Cindy Devers has led some things, why Dr. Angela King has led some things, why those morning meetings are so important. Those student check-ins allow us to be proactive with it, but then we also have to make sure that we follow through with the parents so that we can reinforce it at home.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gordon and staff, for the excellent presentation. Our next item on our agenda is the SPS Vision 2023.
All right, thank you, Mr. Littlefield. Chair Riddick, this is actually one of my favorite times of the year because I get to tell the entire board and our school community what the plan is for the next 12 to 15 months. And I started this during my first year, and I always try to make sure that I reiterate this every time at the beginning of the summer. And I say 15 months because we do try to include the summer months and a lot of things that we do. And this is part of the reason why it's called the vision, because we're going to basically look ahead to address some of the things that we've seen, feedback that you all are giving, while also alerting the school community to major projects that are going to be happening in Suffolk Public Schools. So here are the areas I want to be able to talk about. Staff and student supports. This is going to include our safety and security plan. You've already got the presentation previously about the SPS pharmacy. I wanted to provide you a little update on that. The STAR program that I mentioned, that Mr. Skinner and Ms. Forsman are leading, along with our collaboration with the Human Resources Department. Some instructional planning based on our 21st Century Ed, the professional learning partnership that we have. Our SPS and facilities and maintenance overview. This comes directly from our capital improvement plan, as well as things that we have continued to work on from the facility study that we had in 2021, and the next steps to making us the premier school division, which has been the goal since day one. So when it comes to safety and security, we're going to take things to the next level. And we're going to have a Suffolk Public Schools critical threat event. It's going to take place in August. I am specifically and strategically not giving you the date. But the reason we're doing it like this is that we're going to have an active shooter in our schools. This is something that let me rephrase that, active shooter drill. Want to make sure we're clear. This is something that I actually did when I was chief of schools in Chesterfield and working with our operations department there, and I've asked Dr. Brown to lead this. And Dr. Brown has met with all of our emergency services team, where this drill is going to be real. The fake gunshots that you will hear, we are going to have staff and students take place in this. We're going to have casualties. We also will allow us to work on our plans for moving staff to safe places, our plans to make sure that our parents and our students are able to relocate and reconvene with their families at a different location, and try to see if our procedures that we've put in place have worked. We will have the mobile unit there, the Suffolk Police Department will be there, the fire department will be there, the sheriff's office will be a part of it. This is a massive event that will take place during the city. And I will alert you of it the week of, but because we're still trying to iron out some details, these are going to be some of the things that we're going to learn. When I did this in Chesterfield, I was actually in charge of the transportation. And I was in the relocation area or the reconvening area when families were meeting, and I had to detail the buses and what time they arrived, how many people got off. This also helped us to be able to not only track folks, but also helped emergency services when it came to injuries. This is going to be real, and it's going to take probably about a half a day to do this in August, and then we will have a debrief with the city of Suffolk to see what areas we can improve on. We also have an SPS safety camp August 22nd through the 24th. We're going to be training some staff, depending on what happens with that budget from the state, some S3s, but also some of our new school safety monitors, security monitors that we already have in place. You all know as a part of the budget, we added a few to make some of them full-time. And then we're going to take a hard look at some of those safety audit committee recommendations. As you all know, that was $3.6 million that Mr. Randleman spoke about. But one of the areas that we are really interested in, for example, is that crosswalk between Kings Fork Middle School and Kings Fork High School. And I have a great funding source to take care of that. Why can't the tickets that the city is giving with these new stop cameras fund that? They're happening in front of our schools anyway. So this is where I need y'all help to kind of make that happen. We also want to talk about the support of our staff. Our SPS pharmacy on site, Ms. Forsman and I, Ms. Avery and I actually had a conversation today about continuing to use this as a new recruitment tool. We hope to have this up and running by the end of August. The STAR program, we got about 15 students that will be working for SPS. Mr. Skinner literally just did a signing day with our kids to give them some exposure, give them some of these internships, some paid opportunities, and hopefully they'll get that experience and want to be able to stay and work with us in SPS. And based on what you all just saw for the climate and survey data, professional learning for staff that want to grow in their career. That's going to be our focus. One of the things that we've discovered is when staff is leaving us, the majority of us staff leaves us because they retire, right? But if you look at the data across the state, the first reason why staff leaves their current positions, they don't feel like they have the support. We're going to continue to make that a focus here in Suffolk Public Schools. So I want to kind of show you all what the pharmacy is going to look like. Is there a laser on this too, John? Okay, this right here at the top?
Yeah, press it, hold it.
Where do I point at? Up here?
There you go. Whoop.
Where do I point at? Okay,
There you go.
thank you. All right. So as you come down here, this is our main entrance door. As you can see, the different little areas right here where we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 areas where you can actually it's 3 areas where you can come and get your medicine. The one on the back is actually, you place your order in the first 3 and you pick up your medicine on the left. And you can see the shelving that will have all of our pharmaceutical projects, pharmaceutical pills that RX Online will work with. We are in the process right now of reconfiguring the entire meeting room that we originally had, the operations center. That's going to be the location for this. This is a strong feather in the cap, and kudos to Wendy Forsman for leading this effort where people are going to save a lot of money for their medications. I want to give you another image just from the other side. This one actually has a computer and a phone, so I thought that was cool to be able to show you all. And we also can see from the other side, we have about 5 chairs waiting, right there. And this is going to be open all day. We're going to have set days where we'll have distribution to the other parts of the city, to make sure that people don't have to drive. We talked about some shipments to the northern part. But with this location right here, it'll be able to have staff being able to have the opportunity to come and pick up their prescriptions before work, after work, et cetera. Really excited about the SPS pharmacy. I want to talk about our STEM instructional leads. Now, you all know that last year, Suffolk Public Schools actually, I believe, and I get a check, we had some of the largest gains in math in the entire state by increasing by 21%. And you all remember the presentation that Marlon Lindsay did when he talked about not only the jobs that are coming, but all those jobs that are going unfilled. And so we want to be able to add some more of those hands-on experiences back to our students. You all remember during the pandemic, English and history didn't really have as much of an issue as math and science, because math and science is more of a hands-on activity, hands-on subject. So Dr. Caitlin Leitner led 5 professional learning sessions along with 21st Century Ed. And you all remember the video when they had the PE teacher that was actually doing robotics. This partnership is ongoing. And one of the things that's so special about it is when we went to the sessions, because we went to observe and we participated some, it was interesting to see how our elementary teachers grasped this concept so quickly. And then some of our high school folks actually a little bit hesitant because they thought, is this just something else I have to add on? No, this is going to be the model. And this also helps us to be able to have cross-curricular instruction happening so we can eliminate subjects and teachers teaching in silos. We're so excited about it. And so we have this partnership with 21st Century Ed that's led to this STEM extravaganza. You can see the flyer right here where Minecraft is going to be the whole key that the kids are going to be able to do. That's going to be on June 20th. And all of us are going to go to watch. All right, I think at last count we have about 85 kids that have already signed up for grades 6 through 12. But the benefits of this are multifold. It's not just what we're going to see in the classroom, right, with the increased collaboration, more than likely, definitely an increase in science scores, more reinforcement in math, but it's also going to help us with the economic and workforce development. With all these robotics jobs happening, just think about our kids being able to take some of those jobs fresh out of high school at Amazon, partnering with the work that we're already doing at CCAP. And we couldn't have made this happen if it wasn't for our community partnerships. United Way gave us, at this time, $62,000. They were using for the summer series. They were using to fund the STEM Academy. You know, Sierra Chavis has been a strong partner because she has 3 of her own kids in Suffolk Public Schools. You all remember the presentations that we did here. And Town Bank also gave us money for the book that's going to be coming out next month. You know, we brought them in. Thanks to Dr. Burr for helping to negotiate that. But one of the byproducts that we're going to see is we believe we're going to have an increase in esports. You know, that's something we started 2 years ago, right? John Littlefield has been he's not even a coach, but he's been very meticulous about making sure that no one goes into that room at the schools except for the kids and the sponsor. And we've had people, because it's state of the art, we've had people who have asked Anthony Hines, can we rent that space? No. You know, we are really serious about that. And because of the robotics that we talked about and the recent sea, air, and land challenge, we think giving our kids more exposure to that, we'll end up having more students participate in the SEAL challenge. These are some of the byproducts as we continue to develop that interest. You'll have more students participating in extracurricular activities, but you'll also see an improvement in your student achievement for both science and math specifically. I got to take some time here to talk about what we're going to fix and what we're going to do. The first thing is that the synthetic field completion at Kings Fork High School is moving well. I never want to talk about how many days we've trimmed off because I'm always worried about the rain. But we've also discovered there's been some challenges with some of our sites at some of our schools. And you don't know about it until you actually dig up the ground. But it is going to be done by September, or probably middle of September. That's why I put on here the fall of 2023. Site work has already kind of begun a little bit with the scales and concepts for John F. Kennedy Middle School. I was just sharing with Chair Riddick, we got the information a day ago. We are going to begin to announce a community event to come out and see the renderings, as well as participate in location and memorabilia to go in the display cases for John F. Kennedy Middle School on June 20th at 6 p.m. You'll begin to see announcements about that coming soon. And we want everybody to come out and take a look at what these concepts look like. We've also talked about the sink and countertop replacements at Lakeland and Nansemond River High Schools, our 2 oldest high schools. This is past due. And remember, a lot of these things that I'm discussing, ladies and gentlemen, were the recommendations from the facility study. Light replacement at John Yates Middle School. We're putting these LED lights in. This is what we already did at both Lakeland and Nansemond River. Terry Napier's team did a great job of scheduling things to make sure it did not impact instruction at all, and we used the winter break as a prime time to do so. New floor at Northern Shores Elementary School. Past due. Past due. And conversations that I have with Mr. Riddick, we have had sent a letter to the city. Because of our joint use agreement, 50% of the cost is responsible by the city of Suffolk. We're going to try to start this in August, but because of supply chain issues, some of them are still there. If we can't do it in August, we're going to do it in December over winter break. Just want to make sure I'm clear on that. Technology, this is something that John Littleville has been working not only with the city, but actually the entire region for fiber extension. We're going to do camera and telephone replacement. The camera replacement is something that was also discussed in the school safety audit recommendations, including the cameras for the football stadium. See, they didn't even know that we already had that plan because we didn't want to try to, interrupt any of the autonomy of the discussions they were having. And this also includes increasing the total number of cameras that we have in our outdoor learning units. Don't say trailers. HVAC and sinkhole emergency repairs. Ladies and gentlemen, just as a reminder, we used our preventative maintenance money of $3.575 million every year for the next 4 years to take care of the extension and expansion of Northern Shores. So Ms. Forsman and Mr. Napier take a look at our year-end funds to determine what we can try to fix. And I know we've had some conversations about how things go over multiple fiscal years. But the one thing we cannot plan for is sinkholes. And that is an issue. $2.5 million last count. And that's just today. So anytime we're thinking about multiple days where we have rain, let's just pray that we don't have sinkhole issues. And because of these sinkhole issues, this is a part of the reason why we were very meticulous and thorough with the site plan for John F. Kennedy. If we had sinkholes being discovered at Colonel Fred Cherry that's less than 10 years old, those are the types of things that shouldn't happen. For the Center for Performing and Production Arts, we talked about when we were starting this first, once in a lifetime new specialty center, we wanted to make sure that we had an auditorium or an area for the families to come in that was state of the art as well. Those auditorium improvements, we're going to try to start them this winter. And we're starting this winter on purpose to make sure it's done by 24-25. This is going to be a 6 to 8 month project. And if I would have started them right now, we basically would have lost a whole year of not having an auditorium at Lakeland. And we don't want to do that. We also want to make sure that when the bids come out, that they are serious about the specs. We're trying to improve the sound. We're trying to improve the overall appearance. It can't be a full renovation because that takes time, right? Too much time that we have, and we just don't have the funds for it. But we are going to have some auditorium improvements there. And Dr. Bird and Mr. Napier have also led the effort to try to create a black box at Lakeland in the future as well. RFP and design work for the Northern Shores expansion. That's going to start after July 1. That's when the money comes in from the city on the CIP. And remember, that design work is really going to take the entire 23-24 year with construction to begin in 24-25. Way overdue. Way overdue there. Now, we've seen renderings in the past. We're not sure if those renderings are what we want to do now, because multi-use classrooms at every level is the way to go. You just don't have a 4th grade classroom anymore. You have a classroom that can be used for math, science, English, and history, including some different things that we can put in there for multi-purpose space. This is our facilities and maintenance overview. This is in direct alignment with the facility study. So if anyone ever says that we're not following the facility study, please have them pull up the presentations for the last 3 years. They've been in a direct alignment of what needs to be done. So I did want to give you all the rendering of what Kings Fork High School's turf field is going to look like. We're really excited about that. Again, thank you to Mr. Napier, Mr. Fortune, Mr. Hines has really traditionally been a bulldog on this to make sure that it happens. And we wanted to make sure it was customized, special for Suffolk. And I can tell you folks, because we put these synthetic fields in, now synthetic fields are being built in Newport News. Now synthetic fields are being discussed in Chesapeake. Now synthetic fields are being discussed in Portsmouth, because we set the trend. That's what it's all about, and it's a part of the reason why our kids and our participation in extracurricular activities have went up, because we've invested in that. Many of you all saw this when we had the State of the City, but I kind of want to go a little bit more detail. This is what the JFK site plan is going to look like. And you can see, if you look closely in the background, you can kind of see the outline of where the old building is. The proposed schools, you can see, is kind of in the upper right-hand corner. There's going to have to be some site work there to deal with some of the flooding and other murky waters that sometimes has been on that site for years. We've been working with the city on the existing playing fields and what the city's going to be responsible for when it comes to bleachers and lights, rerouting water mains, et cetera. This is going to be nice. It's going to be extremely nice. And you did see this part at the State of the City. It will not have the Wolverine head right there. Just want to make sure that's clear. I don't know why they threw that up there. But you can see it is very similar to kind of what you saw with Colonel Fred Cherry. However, once you get on the inside, this is where there have been tweaks based on feedback that we've received from the principal, from staff, et cetera. We don't want to, you use a prototype to give you the footprint, but you also want to make it specific to the school's needs. Here's another view from the side, just so you have an idea of how this building is going to look. And we have in the process of, we're pretty close to a 95% submittal, and then bids will come back. We'll have an update. I've had conversations with Chair Riddick. We can plan for a presentation from Jeff Harris, from RRMM at our next school board meeting. He can go into more details. So the last slide I want to talk to you all about is the Premier School Division. I mean, we've used that word not in justice, because we've used that word because this is what we believe. You've seen it. Last month, Dr. Neighbors presented you off the 2023 Best Communities for Music Education, plus the one-of-the-kind Center for Performing and Production Arts. Our nationally recognized Project Lead the Way programs, I think it's like 17 years in a row now, nationally recognized, and we're one of the few in the Commonwealth of Virginia that has 2 in one school division. So excited about the STEM Century book, the SPS edition. We're circling mid-July. We're going to have a book release and launch. It's probably going to be at CCAP. As soon as I get more information, because we're putting the finishing touches on it, I've already previewed the manuscripts. You're going to meet some of our student authors that wrote in the book tonight. And then you saw the film crew that was actually here when Marlon Lindsay came. We'll have the documentary. I put Winter 2023 on there because we're trying to make sure that the editing rights and everything is together. Community leadership is really all about the personal relationships. When you go to our community leadership link on our website, you can see Town Bank, you can see University Tutors, you can see United Way, you can see these different companies that have partnered with Suffolk Public Schools. We're about to increase that. Dr. Lee has come up with a great idea of, hey, we know a lot of people in it, but let's just go to the store. Not just send them a letter, let's go to the store. That's going to be a huge focus of our community engagement team this summer. And we also believe it's going to help us with more opportunities for staff and student partnerships. I also can tell you that SPS is leading state organizations. Dr. Brown, vice chair of his organization. I'm the president-elect of the Virginia Alliance of Black School Educators. Dr. Branch is actually the conference chair. I mean, it's not about Suffolk Public Schools joining organizations. It's about us leading them. That lets you know that we are so well respected within the state. We now have a national blueprint that is actually making us not only premier, but known. And now school divisions are coming to us. They want to know what we're doing. They want to come study us. In the last 3 months, I think we've had 2 school divisions that come just to take a look at the Center for Performing and Production Arts. I mean, to us, that's what it's all about. And the student achievement piece, I think you all are going to be pleased when we give you all that report. And I'll give you a rough draft of that when my evaluation is submitted to you at the end of the month. You will see that a lot of these things that we've put into place is about educating the whole student. It's about galvanizing our school community. You heard us at the support staff banquet where we talked about the $9.8 million for Kings Fork High School in scholarships and the $10 million at Nansemond River. We blew last year's total out the water. It shows that the plan is working. It shows that we have the team in place to get it done, but most importantly, it shows that our students in our school community believe in it. So with that, Mr. Riddick, I will open it up to any questions from the board members.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gordon. At this time, board members, if you have any questions, please hit your feature. Vice Chair Howell.
Thank you for that, Dr. Gordon. I want to ask a couple things about the active shooter drill. So are students actually going to be involved? Are students?
Yes.
Or not role play? Okay. Did that require like parent permission? Like they'll know it's a drill?
Yes.
Okay.
That will be coming.
Well, thank you for doing that. I'm sorry that this world requires it of us. And then I just wanted to make a statement that Board Member Slingloff and I received from you and Wendy when we met. The reason that people see a lot of maintenance at this point in the year is because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding was that City Council doesn't support maintenance and equipment as a line item in our budget yearly. It's something we have to take care of ourselves with what we have available at the end of the year. Is that correct?
Yes, it's twofold. So we actually had, as a part of the CIP, you had a maintenance, basically preventive maintenance, $3.575 million, which included asbestos removal and stuff like that. But in the past, when it came to fixing some of the other things, we haven't received support from that. So at the end of the year, Ms. Forsman takes a look at not only how long it takes for things to be ordered, but what can be done this fiscal year, what can be done that actually spreads over 2 fiscal years, and that's the funds that she uses. You know, we wish we had more. The other members, Ms. Byram and Dr. Brooks-Buck, will tell you, before it became $3.5 million, it used to be $1 million a year. $1 million a year for 21 buildings. It's $50,000 per building. So, you know, Pat Roberts, the former city manager, and I worked very hard to try to increase that amount. But now that we're using that from Northern Shores, we really have to use our year-end spending to cover almost all maintenance.
So to clarify, we're responsible for any major repairs, even if we haven't budgeted for that, like the sinkholes
Yes.
or sidewalks caving in and,
Yes.
you know, phone lines and water lines and power lines going with it. So I just wanted to put that out there. I know it was shared with the board after our meeting, but just a point for citizens that see like this to-do list here where there's a lot of maintenance, and that's why.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for stating that.
Are there any additional questions from board members?
I want to say something.
Oh.
Again, Dr. Gordon for presenting this format because it gives us an idea where we're going, and you do this all the time, which is to be commended. But I feel the excitement, you know, when I see you do this, and I'm excited because these are things that we have planned for years and years and years, and a lot of times these things are coming to fruition, and I am so glad of that. Like, you know, our music program, these things, a lot of things got delayed with COVID and so forth, and the economic situations in our country over the years and so forth, in our state. But we have still maintained and still moving forward, and that's the important thing to express here. And I feel that excitement, and I know you do too. And I commend you and your staff for that, because we are in times when sometimes you need a pat on the back, and you need to feel that, you know you're doing a good job, and the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. And thank you for showing that to us. Thank you, Dr. Gordon.
Thank you.
Dr. Gordon, I did have a question. It's regarding the STARS program. Would the students have an opportunity for that program to count as a cooperative credit? Is that something that can be done for those students who participate in that?
So the first thing we'll have to do is find a course code for each job they're going to do, and they're actually doing it this summer. So that might be something that we can actually research a little later on. What do you think, Mr. Skinner?
A little later, because normally it has to be connected to a
Course.
you want to do it during the school year. They may lessen that, but we'll kind of see where it bridge.
So that's one of those things, Mr. Riddick, that we can potentially have some of our state legislators be able to lobby to give the flexibility that Mr. Skinner is talking about, so that if it's not connected to a course in the summer, the kids actually get the credit for the experience itself.
Okay. Board members, are there any additional questions, comments before we move forward to our next item? Okay, there being none, we're going to go into a recess.
Ready? 3, 4. Sing your 3 notes. Go. Now do it just like that with them. Everybody, and breathe. Okay, do you hear that you're out of tune? Kind of. Can you close your eyes, please? I'd like you to sing this with your eyes closed. I'm not sing mezzo piano, medium soft, no dynamics, no nothing. I just want you, or dynamics if it happens, fine. But I want you to focus on listening and blending to the people around you, making sense in your chord. Are your eyes closed? Are you ready? 3, 4, 1. There you go. Keep going. Listen hard. Yes. Think about it before you sing it. Breathe. Okay, stop. Look at me. Open my eyes. Open my eyes.
Well, that was fun.
I think I need to rearrange so we have a better blend. Who's part 3 for me, please? Raise your hand. I think what I'd like to do is have. Bella, switch with Alden. And can I just hear this? Can I hear the first 3 notes? 3, 4, 1. Sorry. Yeah, but we've done the song so many times, Maddie. You have to just flip the brain on, because you can do it, and you sound gorgeous when you do it. So just decide you're going to do it right the first time. Yes? First 3 notes, 3, 4. Keep going. Darker vowels, please. Et on me, Rabbi, you can think too hard about it. Sing by yourself. 3 and 4. Don't talk. Go. Going down, right? There's a low one. There you go. Good. So the first one is very plain. The second one's very fancy. Can we run this one more time? Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, open your eyes. Let's do it. We're going for artisticness this time. 3, 4. Hear the melodies you can sing.
Sacramentum.
You've nailed the song so many times, are you nervous? Is that what it is? Are you, part three is speaking to you. You can speak back out loud, it's okay. Are you okay? Do you need something? No? Okay. What's going on in your brain? Tell me.
I'm listening to Maddie, and then I'm also listening to people around me.
Okay.
And then it kind of just,
So you're feeling like you're not sure what's going on?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Are you okay? You've sung the song 100 times beautifully. It's never been on tune before. Do you need anything, or I think you're too nervous. Don't be nervous. You know the song. You know the song. We do the last O Manu to the amens, please. This is the quiet O Manu. You know where I am? Cece, do you know where I am? Yes. Okay, 3, 4. This is the end. Do you know where we are? Yes. Or is it Mysterium? Which one is it? Mysterium. Is it down more? Mysterium. Amen. Amen. Ready? And. Hey, part 1. What? Sing the last 2 amens for me. Sing the amens for me. Amen. 3 and. There you go. Keep it lifted at the end. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? What can I do for you?
what time is it? Can I get time check?
It is 6:38.
Like, as soon as you told you the time.
Can we try one more thing? Can we all scoot in, please? Can we all scoot in towards the middle?
This way.
Y'all?
So, for a moment, do you want me to just do what I did last time? Because I don't think you good.
Do what?
Like, I literally have to stand my place.
Just stand in the middle because you're in the middle. They're just gonna say, so it sounds fine.
That would turn red.
Yeah, I'm turning it off for now because y'all are good.
Tell the
Good evening, everyone. While we wait to begin our meeting, I just want to go over a couple of things so we're all on the same sheet of music in the same key so we can move harmoniously in the right direction. We are expecting an outstanding performance from one of our very own schools. And what I'm going to ask everyone to do at this time, if you can put your cell phone on vibrate or silent, because we don't want any distractions from this outstanding performance that we're about to see. I ask that when they come up that you celebrate them as much as possible, that we give them a standing ovation, that we give them a resounding round of applause. Let's celebrate and push our own. Thank you. Those are our housekeeping orders for tonight. Good evening. The Suffolk Public Schools June 2023 school board meeting will now be called to order. At this time, we ask you all to please stand and join our outstanding chorus from Colonel Fred Cherry Middle School as they lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, those who have the honor and privilege of watching this in real time in person, and those who are watching at home and via YouTube and Facebook and whatever other streaming devices we have. We would like to introduce to some and present to others the renowned, outstanding voices of Colonel Fred Cherry Middle School under direction of Mrs. Sweich.
Thank you so much for having us today. This is Colonel Fred Cherry Middle School's very own 8th grade chorus. They are 17 strong and they sound like 30. I'm so proud of them. We have 3 short selections for you today, and we hope that you will enjoy. Far away.
Far away in a far-off land lives a child who loves to sing. She opens up her fragile heart, and her song it takes wing. She sings la 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 la. On the grass, on the cool green grass that was hers, and she could run. She lies with hair open like a fan in the warmth of summer sun. She sings la 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 la. Bombela, 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 Westimela, Bombela, Bombela, Westimela, Bombela, Westimela, umama wenzani evusa batwana, umama wenzani evusa batwana, umama wenzani evusa batwana, umama wenzani evusa batwana, Bombela, Bombela, Westimela, Bombela, Bombela, Westimela, umama wenzani evusa batwana, umama wenzani evusa batwana, Bombela, Bombela, Westimela, Bombela, Bombela, Westimela, umama wenzani evusa batwana, umama wenzani evusa batwana, Bombela, Bombela, Westimela, Bombela, Bombela, Westimela.
Let's do it one more time for them. Let's clap it up one more time. Suffolk Public Schools, we have something truly to be thankful for. We got it going on. To those who are here to critique my English, oh well, but we got it going on. Our children have done an outstanding job. Let's clap for them one more time. Let's put some life in the building. At this time, our next item, before I do this, I'm going to break protocol, what I normally do. Board members, do you all have any comments that you would like to say? They still can hear us outside, but do you have any comments that you would like to say? Board Member Brooks Buck?
You knew I was going to push my button. I thought they were wonderful, and to hear them sing in different languages, and you know I love music, so this was just amazing. They did a marvelous job, and I'm so proud of them. I don't know what to do. So, thank you.
Board Member Jenkins?
I concur with Dr. Brooks Buck. It was amazing. I think most of us up here love music, and we have pastors up here, so we know they love music. And the harmony is what does it for me. And they were on point with the harmony. So I just can imagine as they get older how great they will be. Congratulations for a job well done.
Board Member Slingla?
It's going to sound redundant, but that was amazing, spectacular. The talent in 8th grade is fantastic, very impressive.
Board Member Brittingham?
That was absolutely angelic to listen to. Those voices are amazing. What talent. I say the same thing that Ms. Slingleff says. In 8th grade, to be able to sing like that, what a blessing. What a gift.
Board Member Byram?
Just wonderful, ditto, ditto. But we have to praise our music educators too, because we have some excellent music educators that devote themselves to this, and this is the product that we receive back. Our money is well spent, well spent. Thank you.
I'll just echo what everybody else said. So it looks like, I am grateful to have heard that and experienced it. And I'm super proud that some of my kiddos, I think, I've got a handful there at Colonel Fred Cherry. So fantastic job, and fantastic job to the music education teacher over there.
As you can tell, Colonel Fred Cherry is split between 2 boroughs, and their board members are Board Members Brooks Buck and Vice Chair Howe, so they both can lay claim to what you see tonight and what you have heard. However, wherever they go, they will be representing Suffolk Public Schools, so we all can share in the joy that we just heard. This is what it's all about. Student-centered, student first. Everything else can find somewhere else to go. It's about doing what's best for our children. With that being said, we will have our reading of our SPS mission statement by Board Member Jenkins.
Thank you. The mission of Suffolk Public Schools is to produce 21st century learners that will become productive citizens in society, foster a dynamic, safe, and nurturing learning environment, partner with school community for the benefit of students and staff, strengthen the school division by employing a highly qualified and diverse staff, effectively and efficiently manage capital and human resources, and effectively communicate to increase community investment.
Thank you, Board Member Jenkins. That's the main reason why we do what we do. Student achievement is our priority. Our next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. We will entertain a motion.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Who's second? The motion has been made by Board Member Brooks Buck and second by Board Member Jenkins. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk.
Board members, please vote. Motion passed.
Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is public speakers on agenda topics. At this time, our clerk will read our statement, but before she read the statement, just to reiterate housekeeping rules, the timer will be set by the clerk. There will be 5 minutes granted. The speaker will be able to see the time, I will be able to see the time, and our clerk will be able to see the time as well. The clerk will call your name, after which, where she has called your name, you will then be asked to come up to the podium and comply with the statement that she reads. She will also let you know when you have 1 minute left. Once your time has expired, we ask you to respect the rules and protocol, and please cease from giving your speech, and we can have a good time. Madam Clerk?
It is the intent of the school board to ensure that the affairs of the board be conducted in an open and orderly manner, that all persons desiring to address the board are afforded an opportunity to do so in the order in which they sign up to speak, that persons in attendance may observe and hear the proceedings of the board without distraction, and that the members of the board and board employees are able to transact the business of the board with minimal disruption. Any persons addressing the board shall, 1, confine their comments to matters germane to the business of the school board of the city of Suffolk. 2, refrain from words or statements which, from their usual construction and common acceptance, are construed as insult and tend to incite violence or breach of the peace. 3, refrain from obscenity, vulgarity, or other breach of respect. 4, comply with the time limit for public comment as set by the board, which can be up to 5 minutes unless the board, through the exercise of its discretion, decides to allow less than 5 minutes for public comment. 5, refrain from cumulative or repetitive remarks, and 6, refrain from making any comments regarding any pending student discipline or employee grievance matters. The appropriate forum for such matters is the applicable administrative hearing provided by state law or, where appropriate, court proceeding. Expressive activities including, but not limited to, petitioning, picketing, displaying signs or posters, solicitation, demonstrating, pamphlet distribution, and conducting polls shall not be permitted in the meeting area where the school board is meeting and the waiting areas and corridors adjacent thereto. Persons addressing the board may deliver to the board or its clerk written materials including reports, statements, exhibits, letters, or signed petitions, and may also make use of any chart or graph during their verbal presentation. The school board welcomes comments from the public as appropriate. Board members will listen to public comment but will not comment, deliberate, or take action on them. The school board chair may direct the superintendent to investigate items and report back to the school board at a subsequent meeting. The chair or other presiding officer shall preserve decorum and shall decide all questions of public order, subject to appeal to the board. At the request of the chair, a city police officer shall act as sergeant-at-arms at tonight's board meeting. The officer shall, under the direction of the chair or other presiding officer, have charge of the meeting area, the waiting areas and corridors adjacent thereto, and shall prevent disorder or interruption of the business of the board. Please state your name and address before speaking. And our first speaker is Dr. Deborah Wallstrom, who will be addressing ordinance number 2022-23-94, curriculum and closed meeting.
Thank you, and good evening, board members. I'd like to have a handout given to each of them. May I give that to you? Tonight, I wanted to share a copy of some thoughts about a curriculum policy that you'll be looking at, and either tonight or next month be passing it. So I wanted to just share some thoughts with you about 1 or 2 or 3 things you might be able to consider to bring them up to for their premiere also in the school division. It is nice to see some of the good things that are happening. I'm here tonight because I see something significant unfolding with the board, and it's really hard for me to ignore the tension between board members. In my pursuit of knowledge, I requested information through the Freedom of Information Act, hoping to gain a deeper understanding of the situation. While the school division didn't release the documents I really wanted, it did provide an insight into what is going on. My utmost concerns lies with the closed session tonight and how individuals involved will be treated. The interactions among some board members have raised serious alarms, and it appears that a collaborative effort between one board member and possibly the superintendent has emerged, seemingly with the intent to mete out punitive measures against up to another, maybe 4 even, other board members during tonight's closed session. With these concerns in mind, I have a few thought-provoking questions I'd like to put forward in hopes that these questions will help delve into the heart of the matter and merit careful consideration, if not this evening, in the near future. The first question, is the entire process you are carrying out tonight one that is truly fair and impartial? Would it be appropriate if a superintendent participated in any way in the disciplining of board members? And if a superintendent did, wouldn't that be harmful to the board as a whole? How involved do you think the superintendent should be in matters related to board member discipline? Would it be appropriate for the board's lawyer to prepare disciplinary notices at the request of one board member to several other members of the board? It seems that this is something that would go to the board chair, and he would take it from there. Do you think the entire board should be involved in how processes of the board play out? What role does the school board attorney play in addressing internal issues of the board? And how are you ensuring impartiality of this? Doesn't the current set of norms and protocols include those that were put in as a deterrent to a former board member? Is there a precedence of previous incidents where similar violations occurred and were addressed in the same way? What steps were taken prior to the closed meeting tonight to address the alleged violations? And were the accused members given an opportunity to respond before this meeting? How will the board ensure fairness and impartiality during the closed meeting, considering that a former chair is one of the accusers? Are there any potential conflicts of interest or personal motivations that might be influencing the accusations or the responses of accused members? How does the board intend to maintain transparency and public trust throughout this process? What mechanism exists to mediate conflicts?
This is your 1-minute warning.
Thank you. What mechanisms exist to mediate conflicts or address grievances within the school board before they escalate to a disciplinary level? How will the decisions made in the closed meeting be communicated to the public? What support or resources were provided to board members to ensure they are aware of and adhere to the established norms and protocols? Since most of the accused are new to the board, has the board done its due diligence in ensuring new members have been thoroughly trained? If the alleged actions by newer members are true, is it because they're making rookie mistakes? How can the school board work together moving forward to rebuild trust and maintain a positive working relationship among its members? Who exactly issues an official warning to allegedly accused school board members?
I'm sorry, your time has expired.
It has, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Our next speaker. Okay. Our next item on the agenda is reports by the superintendent. At this time, we will turn the floor over to Dr. Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Riddick. I'm going to call to the podium our Communications and Community Engagement Officer, Ms. Antoinette Dickens. Welcome back. She's going to highlight many of our alumni, our STEM fly-in field trip, the Pilot Club of Suffolk Recognition Event, Southside VBODA Jazz Assessment, Access College Social Media winners, national recognition for Project Lead the Way, the Congressional Arts Show, K-12 Career Pathway for Computer Science, Athletic College Signing Day, the STEM Extravaganza, STEM Century with some of our student authors for the SPS edition, and awards and recognition for our May Teacher Spotlight, specifically for our long-term subs. Ms. Dickens?
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman Riddick, Vice Chair Howell, school board members, and of course, Dr. Gordon. We'll begin our good news report this evening. Okay. We'll begin our good news report this evening with our alumni highlights, Ms. Destiny Coles. Destiny Coles is a graduate of Lakeland High School, and she went on to continue her education at the VCU School of Dentistry. This year, she graduated. At 20 years old, she is the youngest graduate of her dental hygiene class of 2023. While at SPS, Destiny took advantage of a biomedical science program in the 9th grade. She signed up for advanced placement courses and enrolled in an associate's degree program for first-generation college students. After graduation, she plans to work for a temp agency in the Tidewater area and try different environments and kinds of practices, she says. Eventually, she does want to go back to school to pursue her master's degree in public health or education to become a dental hygiene instructor. Last month, SPS partnered with Global Health Connections International and took 40 middle and high school students to the UPS hub at the Raleigh-Durham Airport for the 2023 STEM Fly-In. This event aimed to educate students on military and STEM career opportunities. Students witnessed the Navy pilots flying in and landing their jets. They received tours of the jets and UPS Airbus and drone, and had an informative session facilitated by the highly decorated and experienced naval pilots, Captain Alex Waldo Hampton and Lieutenant Donovan Tip Boone. Also last month, the Pilot Club of Suffolk held its annual Civic Awards reception at the Suffolk Elks Lodge, and during this ceremony, the following staff were recognized. Justina Spina, Outstanding Teacher of Children with Disabilities from Southwestern Elementary. Sarah Porter, Outstanding Teacher of Children with Disabilities from Kings Fork High School. Beverly Bennett, Outstanding Teacher's Aide of Children with Disabilities, also from Kings Fork High School. Carolyn Holloman, Outstanding School Bus Aide of Children with Disabilities, and William Horner, Outstanding School Bus Driver of Children with Disabilities. Southside Virginia Band and Orchestra Directors Association Jazz Assessment. Lakeland High School Jazz Ensemble. Congratulations go out to Lakeland High School Jazz Ensemble on receiving excellent ratings at the Southside Virginia Band and Orchestra Directors Association Jazz Assessment. Congratulations to the various awards given to the band and specific students. The trumpet section received the Most Outstanding Section Award. Soraya Fisher received the Most Outstanding Saxophone Soloist Award. Omarion Evans received the Most Outstanding Trumpet Award. And Jaden Denson received the Most Outstanding Bass Soloist Award. And 3 Suffolk Public School students were recognized recently as scholarship winners at the Access College Foundation's College Commitment Day, which was held at Chartway Arena. Deja Reese from Nansemond River High School, Emma Harsh, also from Nansemond River High School, and Anaya Blygen from Kings Fork High School were the Access Social Media Scholarship winners. Congratulations goes out to Lakeland and Nansemond River High Schools for their Project Lead the Way Distinguished School recognitions. We are proud to recognize these 2 schools for their commitment to providing students with exceptional educational experiences while ensuring equitable access to Project Lead the Way programs. We congratulate them on this achievement and celebrate their important work empowering students with the knowledge and skills to succeed not only in the STEM subjects, but also more generally in life and, of course, as they pursue their careers. Congratulations to the Nansemond River High School visual arts students that completely dominated the Congressional Arts Show for our district. Dana Watt won first place overall. She will have her artwork framed and exhibited in the Hall of Congress in Washington, D.C., and she's also going to receive plane tickets to go and visit the national show with the other winners from around the country. Madison Carr won third place. Her artwork will be framed and exhibited in the VAB office of Congressman Jen Keegans for the next year. Andy Mullins won Chief's Choice. His artwork will be framed and exhibited also by Congresswoman Keegans in her personal office. And Najman River students' work will be seen by people from all over the world, especially in Washington, D.C. The Science Department is excited to share that Suffolk Public Schools now has a K-12 pathway for computer science, with the most recent addition to all elementary schools running computer science courses in kindergarten through 5th grade, and Mr. Skinner's team securing a sponsorship through Project STEM for the middle school elective course Technology Education. We have completed this pathway with our most recent partnership. Project STEM has expanded its sponsorship for computer science to all 3 of our high schools under the Amazon Future Engineers program, which is committed to helping expand access to computer science at schools nationwide. Last month, on May 18th, Najman River High School hosted its Spring College Signing Day. Congratulations to the following students. Nathalie Dupree, who will be attending Mary Baldwin University. She's a soccer player. Cheerleader Maxwell Meadway, who will be attending Old Dominion University. Deja Reed, who will also be attending Old Dominion University. Football player Seth Murphy, who will be attending Widener University, and a few baseball players, Austin Atkins, who will be attending Virginia Wesleyan, Will Bennett, Virginia Peninsula Community College, Bryce Bruchette, Methodist University, Darnell Parker Jr., Washington State University, and Thomas Wolfe, Hampton Sydney College. And of course, we do also want to extend congratulations to those who signed at Kings Fork High School and Lakeland High School as well. All right, so this is a reminder that our STEM extravaganza will take place on Tuesday, June 20th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Kings Fork High School. The theme will be a Minecraft competition open to middle and high school students. Ms. Lawson Davenport, has the registration closed already for this event? It's still open, so you still have time to register if you haven't done so already. This is a one-day competition where students will implement their 21st century skills aligned with Virginia's profile of a graduate, including the 5 C skills of citizenship, communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. All right, so tonight we would like to especially recognize a few students from Lakeland High School who were writers for the 21st Century Education Project. At this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Gordon to explain further.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dickens. So as a part of our partnership with 21st Century Ed, Suffolk Public Schools is the first school division in the world to write a STEM century book that not only discusses the STEM pathways that we've created, but also our methodology for increasing student achievement in science and mathematics. Special thank you to Ms. India Mizell, teacher at Lakeland High School. Some of these authors you all have heard before as they have been presented to the board, but a special shout out to Raven Cooper, Alexis Perkins, I can't read his name.
I can read them. I can read them for you.
I'm good. Is it Ramirez J. Young, Alexis Griffith, and James McFarland? These students are actually here. This book will be released in July. We will have an official launch, and we have these students here. We want to recognize them. We have high school students that are going to be certified authors on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Let's give them a round of applause. I got something for you too. I have Alexis. Something was heard about to make y'all faint.
All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And last one, 1, 2, 3. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for that.
Wait a minute. I was saying this way's got my camera.
All right, we have 2 more recognitions tonight as a part of our Good News Report. We also want to congratulate the following teachers for being recognized as our May Teacher Spotlight: Madison Fermel from Creekside Elementary, Carolyn Small from Lakeland High School, SIPA, and Forest Glen Middle School, Dr. Dwight Buchholz from Kings Fork High School, Maya Collins from the College and Career Academy at Pruden, Jessica Ross from Kings Fork High School, Dawn Irwin from Booker T. Washington Elementary, Katia Grillo from Kings Fork High, Barbara Robinson from Mac Ben Jr., and Dr. Amanda Carmelitano from Kings Fork High School. And lastly, we want to take the time to recognize our long-term subs. These are the teachers. These are our long-term substitute teachers. We'd like to honor the following staff for all of their contributions to the students and staff of Suffolk Public Schools. When I do call your name, if you are in the audience, if you can please come up to the podium. Keisha Barnes, 7th grade math teacher from Kings Fork Middle School. Jerry Harris, all subjects teacher from Nesbitt Parkway Elementary. Joyce Garrettson, English and Honors English 9th grade teacher at Lakeland High School. Tammy Pope, 3rd grade teacher at Elephants Fork Elementary. Leslie Littlejohn, kindergarten through 5th grade media specialist at Northern Shores Elementary. Catherine Bonsu, another media specialist from Creekside Elementary. Rosemary Hardy Womack, English 9, Kings Fork High School. No, not, almost. Whitney Holland, special education teacher from John Yates Middle. Rose Wright, 5th grade teacher from Booker T. Washington. Taylor Clements, 2nd grade teacher from Mac Ben Jr. Jalen Clark, 8th grade math teacher from John F. Kennedy. Melvin Tynes, 7th grade civics teacher from Colonel Fred Cherry Middle. Doris Lee, special education teacher from Nansemond River High School. Travis Ferry, physical education teacher at Kilby Shores Elementary. Carlin Small, chorus teacher at Forest Glen Middle and Lakeland High. Lavina Miltier, media assistant at CCAP. Maya Mason, 4th grade teacher at Florence Bowser Elementary. Jasmine Joe, also 4th grade teacher at Hill Point Elementary. Erica Harris, third grade teacher at Southwestern Elementary. And Kay Jefferson, kindergarten teacher at Oakland Elementary.
School board members, Mr. Riddick, we wanted to do something special by recognizing our long-term subs. These are the people, when we had these vacancies, that stepped in, and our classrooms did not miss a beat. And you will see when you take a look at their instructional data, it is outstanding. Outstanding. So we want to publicly thank them for all of their hard work. We had a few people who couldn't make it tonight due to prior commitments, but our long-term subs are teachers. That's just how we look at them. They're not subs, they are teachers. Thank you all so much. Y'all come in a little tighter. Anybody, how about the short people get up front? You go to the front?
I've been to the front my whole life. Right there. Been in the front with the kids at school.
There's a lot of cameras out there.
And right here, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, last one, 1, 2, 3, thank you, congrats.
Yeah, good? Hey, thank y'all, appreciate it. Thank you, all right.
Thank you so much. This does conclude the good news report this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Dickens, for a job well done, and thank you to all of our staff as well as students that were recognized. For the calendar of special events, as a reminder, June is LGBTQ Pride Month. Suffolk Public Schools graduations are in 2 days. Kings Fork High School, 9 a.m. Nansemond River, 12:30 p.m. Lakeland High School closes out the day at 4 o'clock p.m. The last day of school, which is our early release day for students, is June 15th. We still need everybody to come to school every day until that point. Okay? No issues with chronic absenteeism. Teacher clerical day. Teachers, your last day is Friday. I need you at work on Friday. Got to make sure we close out the year properly. Juneteenth holiday, while all schools are closed, is June 19th. The beginning of our summer work hours, which is our 4-day schedule. Monday through Thursday will begin June 20th. The first day of summer is officially June 21st. 4th of July holiday, because of where 4th of July falls, Suffolk Public Schools and departments will be closed on July 3rd and 4th. And our next school board meeting, Mr. Rigor, is July 13th. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity just to call out Miss Garrettson. I think she's gone, but she was one of the substitute teachers when I was in elementary school who put up with me, kept me in line, and made sure I got my lesson. And that's what it takes. There's no such thing as a substitute, some would say. When you are in that room, you're actually the teacher, and we look up to you for full direction and guidance. At this time, the next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. We will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
The motion has been made by Vice Chair Howland, second by Board Member Brooks Buck. Madam Clerk. Before Madam Clerk goes, is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk.
Board members, please vote. Motion passed.
All right, at this time, we have a special presentation by our Superintendent, Dr. Gordon.
All right, thank you, Mr. Riddick. As a part of our personnel report, we have some new administrators that we would like to introduce to the board as well as to our school community. Our first is our new coordinator of student activities, Mr. Ronald Kabler Jr. Mr. Kabler is actually returning to Suffolk Public Schools, where previously he served as an instructional assistant at McBen Junior Elementary and a job coach at Kings Fork High School. He is currently the director of student activities at Manor High School. He is the one that's going to take our activities and athletics to the next level. Mr. Kabler, if you wouldn't mind coming to the podium, introducing yourself to the board, as well as any family members that you may have in the audience.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, board members, Dr. Gordon. Unfortunately, my wife couldn't make it today, but I'm excited to come back to Suffolk, get back involved. I started my education career in Suffolk Public Schools. I'm just excited to get to work, and thank you all for the opportunity.
Next, our new Coordinator of Advanced Instruction in World Languages is Dr. Keisha Melvin. She has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Richmond, a Master of Science in Education from Old Dominion University, a Doctor of Philosophy from the College of William and Mary with an emphasis on educational policy, planning, and leadership, as well as gifted education administration. She has previously been employed by Hampton City Schools as a gifted teacher, and also at Newport News Public Schools, where she's coming from, as the Global Studies Specialist. We are so excited for Dr. Melvin to join us. If you wouldn't mind coming to the podium, introducing yourself, and acknowledging any family members that you may have in attendance.
Chairman Riddick, Vice Chair Howell, Dr. Gordon, members of the school board and community. I'm very excited to be here. It's a blessing and an opportunity to start this role. I'm looking forward to the learning, collaboration, guidance, and growth that will result in this position as we lead our scholars to develop their full potential and also to achieve successful outcomes. My family is scattered tonight, but you will see them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, but certainly not least, we have our new principal of Kings Fork Middle School, Dr. Laguna Foster. He has been previously employed at Norfolk Public Schools at the elementary level, also at Newport News Public Schools, where he led juvenile detention. He is currently the principal of IC Norcom High School in Portsmouth Public Schools. He has a Bachelor of Arts from Norfolk State University, a Master of Arts in Urban Education, also from Norfolk State University, and a Doctor of Education and Educational Leadership and Administration from Nova Southeastern University. Dr. Foster comes to us with over 25 years of principal experience. He lives in Suffolk, and welcome home.
That's right. Thank you, sir. Chairman and Vice Chair, thank you all for this opportunity to return and serve the city of Suffolk. I do live in Hill Point. My wife and bonus daughter are here. They said, no, I'm not coming up. I respect that. She is also an educator in Portsmouth, and we love our community. I'm about community service first. I was raised that way, and I will continue that way. Please come by, stop by, and see us at Kings Fork Middle School, home of the Jaguars, where great things have happened, and we'll continue to grow with student achievement, school safety, and professional development growth for our teachers and staff. Thank you for the opportunity.
Behold, I'm not going to start anything tonight. I see some Trojans in the room, but I'm going to say it again. Behold. Our next item on the agenda is our unfinished business. And at this time, I don't know if it's the pleasure of the board to take things collectively, or if you want to take it one by one. We had it for over a month, had an ample time to ask questions, but I would entertain the motion to go either way. Madam Dr. Brooks-Buck.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I move that we take these items collectively, ordinances 22/23 through 87 to 22/23-97.
Board Member Salingla?
Second.
Okay, the motion has been made by Board Member Brooks-Buck and second by Board Member Slingluff and Board Member Jenkins. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk.
Board members, please vote. Motion passed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Our next item on the agenda is new business.
I'm sorry. You have to go back and now approve them all together. You just approved to accept them collectively.
Thank you. I was so eager to get moving on to the next one. That's what we are. Y'all can tell, look, it's my wife's birthday, okay? Hope y'all understand. At this time, is there a motion to approve all of the ordinances on unfinished business?
So moved. Second.
The motion has been properly made by Vice Chair Howell and second by Board Member Brooks Buck. Madam Clerk.
Board members, please vote. Motion passed.
Okay, so now we can officially move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's new business. At this time, we're going to go to item 1, I believe. This is an action item. Dr. Gordon.
Thank you, Chair Riddick. As we have discussed, and I informed the school board, it is our intention to use CARES Act money to add 62 new teacher assistant positions to have a dual role of not only enforcing and working with student achievement, but also to be able to free up our teachers with our plan for our instructional staff to be duty-free. As I mentioned to the board in the email that I sent you, this will be the primary objective of this budget, but also will be the budget to make sure we can continue this in the future using our CARES Act funds. This also may end up being taken care of depending on what happens in Richmond, if the General Assembly ever decides to get back together. But due to the fact that we currently do have some teacher assistants like that, as well as advertise for it, and asking for the board's approval so that we can have duty-free instructional time for our staff next year.
At this time, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. The motion has been made by Vice Chair Howell, second by Board Member Brooks Buck. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Members, please vote. Motion passed.
The next item on the agenda is item number 2. This is also an action item. Dr. Attorney Waller.
This is the resolution approving the fees and costs in the case involving Suffolk City School Board versus Deborah Wallstrom.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All right, the motion has been made by Vice Chair Howell and second by Board Member Slingloff. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk.
Board members, please vote. Motion passed.
Okay. The rest of the items are informational. So I ask each board member to please go through. If you have any questions, please relay your questions to our superintendent. And if you would like to CC me in on it, that's perfectly fine. It's up to you. It's your prerogative. But our next item on the agenda is public speakers on non-agenda topics. At this time, Madam Clerk, could you please read our statement?
It is the intent of the school board to ensure that the affairs of the board be conducted in an open and orderly manner, that all persons desiring to address the board are afforded an opportunity to do so in the order in which they sign up to speak, that persons in attendance may observe and hear the proceedings of the board without distraction, and that the members of the board and board employees are able to transact the business of the board with minimal disruption. Any persons addressing the board shall, 1, confine their comments to matters germane to the business of the school board of the city of Suffolk. 2, refrain from words or comments which from their usual construction and common acceptance are construed as insults intended to incite violence or breach of the peace. 3, refrain from obscenity, vulgarity, or other breach of respect. 4, comply with the time limit for public comment as set by the board, which can be up to 5 minutes, unless the board, through the exercise of its discretion, decides to allow less than 5 minutes for public comment. 5, refrain from cumulative or repetitive remarks. And 6, refrain from making any comments regarding any pending student discipline or employee grievance matters. The appropriate form for such matters is the applicable administrative hearing provided by state law or appropriate court proceeding. Expressive activities including, but not limited to, petitioning, picketing, displaying signs or posters, solicitation, demonstrating, pamphlet distribution, and conducting polls shall not be permitted in the meeting area where the school board is meeting, the waiting areas and corridors adjacent thereto. Persons addressing the board may deliver to the board or its clerk written materials, including reports, statements, exhibits, letters, or signed petitions, and may also make use of any chart or graph during their verbal presentation. The school board welcomes comments from the public as appropriate. Board members will listen to public comment but will not comment, deliberate, or take action on them. The school board chair may direct the superintendent to investigate items and report back to the school board at a subsequent meeting. The chair or other presiding officer shall preserve decorum and shall decide all questions of public order, subject to appeal to the board. At the request of the chair, a city police officer shall act as sergeant-at-arms at tonight's board meeting. That officer shall, under the direction of the chair or other presiding officer, have charge of the meeting area and waiting areas and corridors adjacent thereto, and shall prevent disorder or interruption of the business of the board. Please state your name and address before speaking. And our first speaker is Gloria Griffin regarding special education process concerns.
As Ms. Griffin is making her way to the podium, I just want to remind you that the board clerk will let all speakers know when you have 1 minute remaining. I can see the time as well as the speaker and the board clerk. So, Ms. Griffin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gloria Griffin. I live at 211 Joshua Way in Suffolk, Virginia. I'm going to do this quickly. I did remember that it was 5 minutes. I have a list of dates and instances where I'm here tonight on behalf of my 5-year-old grandson with special education. He has missed this term of school. These are the list of incidents that's happened. I just like to take it from here. August of 29th of last year, my daughter contacted the school for an IEP meeting for my grandson. I got a call October that they're still working it. October 19th, they said that I needed a medical plan. I contacted his doctor, looked for the medical plan. The doctor took too long, so I asked, because he has a night nurse, can we submit that information as far as his medical to get it started? They end up saying, not really, let's look into it. So I got a phone call from Sarah. I'm trying not to mention his name, but sometime I have to. I received a call from the head of superintendent, the health division, nurses, and she said we really didn't need the plan because of, I guess, what I submitted, but I'm not sure. Okay, now we're in January 24th. We had an IEP meeting regarding my grandson, and they asked for a submission of his equipment that he needed, any rehab that he had. I submitted everything. I did everything I was supposed to do. Here we are, February 9th. I met the principal at the school at Booker T. Washington and the teacher in the classroom because it's special ed, and they have the equipment there. I never heard from one at March 9th. Here we are, April 17th. We finally found a nurse because he's going to need a nurse. That didn't happen because the nurse, I don't know what happened. They called me and said it was postponed. So April 28th, they had the school board, talking about the school, they had a meeting, an IEP meeting, because David has missed so much time. They were offering compensatory time where he can go to summer school. Then I said, why summer school when he could have gone to this year? What happened? I'm getting a lot of I don't knows, lack of communication, no return calls, none of that. So now we're here. I get a phone call on May 10th. This is a Wednesday. Okay, now your grandson, he can start now, and this is a Wednesday. Here it is Friday, and I said, no, we're not starting. I mean, I don't know if you have any equipment in school. I don't know if you know about the medication, any of that. I said, why don't we do it the following, which was May 19th. I get a call that May 19th, we have a nurse. The nurse called, she didn't show up, something happened to her car. So I called the nurse myself because the nurse would call me, so I kept her number. So I called her up and I showed her on FaceTime what my grandson has a feeding tube and he's on medication. She didn't know all that, but they hired her, the school, someone hired her to take care of my grandson. I said, that's not going to happen because she doesn't know him. She looked at him and I showed her what he has, and she said, I think I can do it. I said, no, we're not going to work on it. By this time, I'm just had it at wit's end, and I called to speak to Mr. Gordon. I had to go through the channels with Mr. Gordon. I cannot talk to him. I had to talk to somebody else first. Then I called Tarsha. She said she would give Mr. Branch, Mr. Bird, somebody going to call me back. Nobody called. Never received phone calls back. They say they don't call me, they never call me. I go down to the City Hall and speak to Ms. Tarsha, another Tarsha, Tanya Hurdle. I'm going to take care of this after Memorial Day. Somebody's going to call you. Nobody's calling me back. And then finally, I get a call from the Special Education Division. She's saying, I had spoke to her previous about all this stuff, and she had said that, well, I'm going to meet you at the school, and I'm going to show you the school, and you're going to meet the classroom yourself. Come to find out from Mr. Bird. Mr. Bird is the chief of schools, or whoever he is. He said that he would get in touch with me. He's sorry that it happened, and that we can't do anything about this year, but we look forward to my grandson next year. So I said, no, that's not going to happen either. But in the meantime, the nurse that was going to take care of him, and I said that she couldn't take care of him, she came down to City Hall here and got an ID. She went back to the school. They showed her medical records. Now she has my address. And I told her she wasn't qualified. I also told her the director of special education she wasn't qualified. So now this lady, she's walking around with my information and everything. So I said, I wanted to visit the school. They wouldn't let me visit the school, but they let her visit. I know somebody should be held accountable. I'm going pretty fast. There's lack of communication. I don't know what the problem is, whether we're not ready for my grandson. I know he's not the only one. Since dinosaur days, you guys have special education children. I know that. If it's a nurse the problem, they need to get a vendors list together, a pool together, and let's try to get some nurses together. So when these special education kids are, you'll be ready for them. But that was one of the reasons why they didn't get it. Now he's missed a whole year of school, but they want to put him in summer school. We're not doing summer school. I just need you guys, please, 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 look into this. Somebody get back in touch with me. Tell me what happened. Somebody dropped the ball, and my grandson didn't go to school this whole year. He's 5 years old. So now Mr. Bird said, I'm sorry for what had happened. I can't fix what happened, but I can look forward to next year. Are we ready for next year? I mean, I never met the teacher, never went in the classroom.
I'm sorry, your time has expired.
Thank you so much. I hope to hear from you guys.
Thank you for coming out, Ms. Griffin. Dr. Gordon will get back with the board to provide us more information regarding your situation. Thank you. At this time, our next speaker.
Mr. Rod Thompson, regarding a hot dog.
My name is Rod Thompson. My address is 9313 Eclipse Drive, Suffolk, Virginia. Good to go. Thank you so much for hearing me out tonight. So Ronald Reagan once said, if you serve a child a rotten hamburger in America, federal, state, and local agencies will investigate you, summon you, close you down, whatever. But if you provide a child with a rotten education, nothing happens except that you're liable to be given more money to do it with. The picture I provided you is a shriveled up hot dog that was served at Kings Fork High School. Having spoken to the some food service attendants prior to coming here today, I will provide praise where praise is due because this hot dog does not rest upon the heads of the cafeteria workers. Some would say, well, it's clearly been sitting for far too long where the lunch lady doesn't care, but they would be wrong. The women and men of the cafeteria staff catch far too much grief for a situation that's been created behind the scenes, and this board has allowed them to fall on that sword far too many times. It is apparent that this hot dog was indeed forgotten about, but less out of malice or meandering and more out of oversight by an undermanned cafeteria staff trying to do the best they can with the time they have. There are currently an estimated 20 open employment spots in the cafeterias across the school district. That's 20 positions just to function efficiently, which means those who are employed are working exponentially harder to cover those manning gaps. And looking online at websites like LinkedIn, Monster.com, and even Craigslist, I didn't see a single listing by Suffolk Public Schools in search of cafeteria staff. I did, however, find the AppleTrack website that lists openings for cafeteria workers on 4- and 6.5-hour scales, but I only found this because I was specifically looking for it. You need more people, but the people the people you need don't know you're looking. You're not hiring new bodies because the new bodies don't even know you're hiring. Advertise. Yard signs cost $4 a piece, and since you've all been elected at least once, you'll agree that they're pretty effective. Heck, just scrolling through a local Facebook community page and apps like Nextdoor, you'll see posts from people seeking employment. How hard is Suffolk Public Schools working to offset the workloads of the overworked cafeteria staff? And what about parental volunteers? Is that an option? Because parents aren't finding this out. My next point is time. On average, it takes between 6 to 8 hours, based on top-notch Google research, to prepare Thanksgiving dinner for 12 people. 6 to 8 hours for 12 people. Right now, Kings Fork High School cafeteria staff are given a handful of hours to prepare, cook, and distribute breakfast and lunch to almost 2,000 students and staff. In addition to more bodies, we need to give the cafeteria workers more hours and more time to work. More lead time for the lunch rush, more prep time to ensure that no detail is missed, more observation time to ensure that hot dogs aren't left under warmers for too long. I'm still waiting to see a line item budget from the school board, but with the way the local government spends taxpayer money, I have to believe that we can amend the current workday by an hour or two to provide the cafeteria staff with the time that they need to deliver adequate service. I have yet to meet a lunch worker who didn't love these kids and take pride in their job. They want to provide quality food. They invest themselves into their job and aren't just there counting the hours for a paycheck. When you don't have enough people and you don't have enough time and resources, you're forced to do the best with what you do have. The bigger issue is more than a hot dog. It's everything that this hot dog represents. That hot dog is both a metaphor for Suffolk Public Schools and the end product of a series of failures that began in this room. For some of these students, school lunch is the best meal they'll eat all day. I personally know what that feels like. To the students, this hot dog represents how much this governing body, its superintendent for hire, and everyone in between truly cares about their education. This hot dog sets the bar for their expectations of what you're going to provide. Because if you created a system which neglects the small details of supporting a fully manned and functional kitchen, where else have you lost focus? If your claim is that you provide healthy and nutritious meal, then deny the resources resulting in the delivery of this hot dog, how should we feel when you tell students and parents that you're delivering top-of-the-line education? And if you tell me that to talk to the administration, I'm going to remind you that the administration answers to you, but you answer to the taxpayers. Lastly, Dr. Brooks Buck, at the Nansemond High School Forum last month, you boasted that every employee with Suffolk Public Schools is paid no less than $15 an hour. But the Appletrack website states...
1 minute warning.
The Appletrack website states that a 4-hour cafeteria worker only earns $14.46 an hour, which means that was a 54-cent lie. Hire more people, give them more hours, and pay them what they're worth. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Travis McKinney regarding truths, facts, and FOIA.
Good evening. It's no secret that I'm here tonight. I had already sent an email out to the chair on May the 12th to let him know that I'll be here tonight to talk about FOIAs and some of the things that are going on. I wanted to clear that up just so there's no misinformation. I was going to prepare a statement and show you a contrast and everything from the last set of FOIAs that I got, and I decided it's a waste of time. So what I have done is I made a comparison of the 210-page Suffolk school response and the police and the fire and other city officials and their responses to my FOIA request. And I'm going to show them the comparison of what the school system redacted as compared to what the other agencies gave me, which are exactly the same thing. And I'm taking it to the FOIA council. And when that response comes to me, is going to determine if me, Mr. Wall, and a judge are going to have a conversation. I'm not going to play games with this. You all sit there and it's ridiculous what you guys do with your FOIAs. The other conversation I had, or the other complaint that I have is you have this board members that purveyor of truths. And every once in a while, this board members can't help themselves from insulting the public at large, making disparaging remarks, mocking public speakers. For example, on the 26th of April, the superintendent made a remark about a desegregation order. May 11th, my wife read the desegregation order. And for that, she got called a Jim Crow, Jane Doe analyst. Me, my wife, and a lawyer are going to have a conversation to the level of defamation and slander that brings. And that's the only conversation I'm having with this school board.
Madam Clerk, next speaker.
Aaron Orekalayan. Regarding issues with implementation of the 4x4 block schedule and how it will affect IB students.
I'm Ron Markellian. I live at 5014 Kings Grant Circle. Good evening, members of the board. Tonight, I present the issue of how the 4x4 block schedule is being applied to students of the International Baccalaureate program at Kings Fork High School. The new schedule reduces the overall time for students to cover the IB core. In the IB core, there are three main components. The first one being theory of knowledge, which questions what we believe and involves consistent and typically extensive essays. The second component being the extended essay, which is a 4,000-word research paper that is worked on throughout the entirety of junior and senior year. The final component is CAS, which stands for Creativity, Activity, and Service. Throughout the IB program, students develop a comprehensive portfolio of experiences consisting of, as I said, creativity, activity, and community service a lot of the time. Additionally, they have a long-term project related to one of these experiences. In the past and this year, a combination of these classes has been spread throughout the 2 years as our first block class. In the fall, our administration pushed scheduling and class selections. In January, the 4x4 block schedule was announced, disrupting previous plans. This new plan pushes IB students to switch an entire semester of IB core-centered classes with an elective. The goal of this was to offer additional credits to students who need them. In IB, credits are more than fulfilled, thereby nullifying this point. Additionally, with an extra class during the year, our IB core opportunities are taken. IB students need this time not only because the teachers play an essential role in the IB core, but also because IB is an 18-month program. This must not be condensed under any circumstances, and this timeline is crucial to the operation and survival of the program. During the second year of the program specifically, the time given by this class for preparation and for IB internal assessments and exams is taken, reducing students' opportunities to achieve college credit, which is a major motivator for taking this program at all. For example, as a student prepares for weeks of exams, they would also be expected to complete work in an additional elective, whereas this time could be catered in an IB-focused schedule. Additionally, as IB is on a 5.0 scale, and there are little to no options offered at Kings Fork High School for 5.0 scale classes, a 4.0 scale class is inevitable, reducing students' GPAs artificially. This also makes college candidates less competitive and reduces our opportunities for scholarships. One of the biggest implications of this change is that the current responsibilities of IB students will be unsustainable. In our first block class, we create resources for our clubs and volunteer for opportunities such as the Great Suffolk Cleanup or participate in the Coffee Kennel, which works with the special education department to serve the teachers and staff with breakfast. Today, we had a ceremony for everybody who worked in the Coffee Kennel. To see the satisfaction the students of the special education department had, the celebration of our collaboration, yet knowing it is being taken away from us was unsavory. IB students run practically all of the clubs in our school, and because of this, CAS time, we can do this. I ran and started the debate club this year. I and other members have big goals for next year. Unfortunately, with the removal and replacement of our IB core opportunities, it is unreasonable for me to expect myself to achieve any of these goals, limiting the impact of my club on the school as a whole. Many of my peers share this sentiment. To take it from us is to take it from the entire school. IB students also represent Kings Fork in community events, such as the Big Feet Meet and Champions Together Special Olympics. We volunteer
1 minute warning.
to host school opportunities, and we are major leaders in our community in more ways than I can express today. As an IB student, we are encouraged to think freely and speak for ourselves. However, we have voiced this specific issue to our administration countless times from January to now, and we have been left out to dry. All that has been done is flip-flopping. Before this Tuesday, we were under the impression that we would have this time, and now we are being told otherwise. The stakeholders deserve a voice. We have offered solutions that are proven to be effective in other school districts and IB schools, but we are told we are exploring possible alternatives, if not ignored entirely. I speak on behalf of those impacted, and our dissatisfaction can be voiced to no further extent. To all those in IB, explain to them why they shouldn't be given the same opportunity as years past or those in other IB schools. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, our next speaker.
Next speaker is Trayvon Boone regarding support of Suffolk Public Schools.
Good evening to our chair, co-chair, superintendent, and school board members. I am Dr. Trayvon Boone, Vice President of the Epsilon Iota Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and the senior pastor of the Tabernacle Baptist Church here in Suffolk, Virginia. Tonight I stand before you to address a pressing issue that affects the very foundation of our educational system, the sense of divisiveness within our school board and its impact on supporting the efforts of our dedicated school staff. It is time that we recognize the detrimental effects of this divisiveness and strive for a change to an approach that fosters unity, collaboration, and unwavering support of our educators, of whom I'm married to one. The decisiveness within our school board creates an atmosphere of tension and hostility, which trickles down to our school staff. When board members are constantly at odds with one another, it becomes nearly impossible to establish policies and make decisions that truly prioritize the well-being of our students. This leads to confusion, frustration, and a lack of direction for our teachers, who are left to struggle with changing expectations and mandates as required by the Virginia Department of Education. Moreover, the sense of divisiveness within the board hinders effective communication and collaboration. When different groups within the group are more concerned with proving their own points rather than finding common ground, the needs and concerns of our students take a back seat. It becomes a battle of egos where personal agendas overshadow the greater mission of providing the best education for our students. In order to truly support the efforts of our school staff, we must get rid of the sense of divisiveness and replace it with a spirit of unity and collaboration. We need a board that is unified in its vision for the betterment of our educational system, a board that puts aside personal differences and works towards a common goal, not a board that will openly allow others to degrade the hard work of our teachers. If anything, you should come together to their defense. In conclusion, the sense of divisiveness within our school board is hindering our ability to effectively support the efforts of our dedicated school staff. It is imperative that we change our course of action. Our students depend on you, and children do what they see adults do. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker.
Michael Rouse, regarding Suffolk Public Schools support and advocacy.
Great evening to the board and those who are in attendance. Good evening. My name is Michael Rouse, and I am here to speak on the positive things that are happening in Suffolk Public Schools. I am a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Epsilon Iota Lambda Chapter, and our mission statement states that Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity develops leaders, promotes brotherhood and academic excellence while providing service and advocacy for our communities. I am extremely proud because I'm a parent of two daughters that attended Suffolk Public Schools. We moved here from Virginia Beach 3 years ago, and Suffolk Public Schools was a determinant factor of why we moved here. Academic excellence, community engagement is at the forefront of what we do as an organization. Over the years, we have been able to volunteer and work with Suffolk students and staff. While doing this, we have seen firsthand the positive work being done throughout the schools. We have seen the hard work and dedication of students and staff as they work to prepare students to become contributing members of our community. Over the past few months, while keeping tabs on what is going on within the city that I've grown to love, I am concerned with the direction we as school districts are headed in. So this evening, I would like to offer several suggestions to better support the great work that is being carried out within the school system. There seems to be a sense of divisiveness within the school board. The first suggestion would be, instead of creating divisiveness within the school board, why not push personal feelings to the side and work together to better support the students and staff as needed? Suggestion 2, instead of criticizing the efforts of central office leaders, why not ask the question, what else is needed for Suffolk Public Schools students to excel? How can we better support district leaders to better support students? Instead of holding town hall sessions to put down the work of Suffolk school staff, why not hold town hall meetings to see what the support from the community can be offered to support students? As elected officials, Your job is to support this work of our schools. As an elected official, we put you in the role to support the efforts of our school district, and with the growing demands and educational needs we have within the school district, they need you now more than ever. Now more than ever. Students need you more now than ever. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk? Okay. At this time, our next item on our agenda is comments and reports by school board members. Board members, we ask that you govern yourself according. We're going to allow each board member up to 4 minutes to give your comments, okay? And what we're going to do is, as we always have done since January, we're going to rotate from each side of the room, okay? At this time, our first speaker will be Board Member Slinglove.
Get to do the honors. Good evening. Thank you for coming out to support our school board meeting this evening. My first note was to Colonel Fred Cherry's choir, but we already had that opportunity to encourage them. They did a fantastic job. I also had the privilege to go to attend the teachers banquet and also the support staff banquet. I was unable to go to the retirement banquet, but I wanted to congratulate not only those that were awarded in both of those banquets, both the teachers and the support staff, but all of the teachers and support staff, because truly we would not have a Suffolk public school system if we didn't have teachers in place supporting our children, and if we didn't have the support staff supporting the teachers to make it all possible. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to all those that are involved in that. I also want to congratulate all the many award winners of the scholarships. I was at Kings Fork for the awards night the other night. Got to see all the energy and the enthusiasm of the students as they were receiving their awards and accolades, and it was very exciting. And I know that also took place at Nansemond River and Lakeland High School, so congratulations to all of those students. The Access Winner Scholarships, Lakeland High School Jazz Ensemble, the art show award winners, the Pilot Club, it goes on and on, the staff that was recognized for the outstanding staff of Suffolk Public Schools through the Pilot Club. Congratulations to everyone. It's a very exciting time of year when everyone gets to pat one another on the back and celebrate a great year at the end of the year. And I want to congratulate parents for making it to the end of the year. I pray that everybody has a wonderful summer, that it's safe, and that the kids continue to read and advance in their knowledge, not to lay aside their studies over the summer, but we'll look forward to seeing everyone back in the fall.
Thank you, Board Member Slinglove. Our next speaker is Board Member Byram.
Thank you, Chairman Riddick. Couple of things. I want to congratulate all of those who were recognized this evening, the teachers in the spotlight, which has been an ongoing program. Congratulations to all of those. And I want to thank Dr. Gordon for recognizing our long-term substitutes, because we know how important they have been this year in helping us meet our demands, and they've been very dedicated. Thank you for recognizing those people. I want to congratulate especially the Lakeland biomedical program and Nansemond River Pathways to Engineering. They continue to be distinguished programs recognized out of 262 high schools in America to receive that recognition. And that brings a lot of support to our school system. They're outstanding programs. I thank their leadership, and I thank those students for the part that they're playing in those programs. And of course, we're all looking forward to graduation on Saturday. And I congratulate all the graduates that will receive their diploma. It's the culmination of their hard work and their dedication, and it has made us, Suffolk Public Schools, very proud. And we thank you for the success that we've had because of those graduates. And that's all, Mr. Riddick.
Thank you, Board Member Byram. At this time, we will have remarks from Board Member Jenkins.
Thank you, Chair Riddick. We are here at the end of another school year, and I'm excited about it, and I'm sure our staff and students are excited. And not that it was easy for a lot, but because we are here and they're still here, that means giving up was not an option for them. I'd just like to thank all admin staff, Dr. Gordon as our superintendent, bus drivers, ground specialists, teachers, custodian specialists, our chefs, teachers' assistants, parents, and most of all, our amazing, smart, and intelligent students for a job well done this year. I want to take a minute I heard so much about this person, and I got to see her tonight as she was honored, and that was Ms. Keisha Barnes. We honored her, and I was told that she only missed one day out of school, and that was because she had to attend a college engagement with her daughter. So, and I'm sure there's probably many more that have not missed any days, but that was brought to my attention by a few people. And so that's the type of staff that we have here. We take our job seriously. I want to congratulate everyone for all their scholarships that they received. I attended the ceremonies as well this week, and it was just tear-dropping to see our students get offered so many scholarships because of their academics and things that they have done. And one I want to mention, who she's really dear to my heart, one of my little girls, seen her grow up, and that is Noelle Ingram, who received over $400,000 worth of scholarships offered to her, and that's amazing. And so if you put in the work, this is what happens. And I just want to thank everyone who came out and spoke. We heard you, we hear you, we're listening, and as well as we are doing, we still have a ways to go, and we're going to do what we have to do to get there. As you go on to your summer, make sure you make smart, safe decisions, and I'll see you at graduation.
Thank you, Board Member Jenkins. At this time, we will have remarks from Board Member Brooks Buck.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had the opportunity to attend the same activities as everyone else, so I will ditto them with regard to the performance of our staff and the information that our staff has given. And I think that our workers I always congratulate the staff on the things that they have done and the students on the things that they've done. I love this time of year because this is the time of year when we see the culmination of our efforts all during the year. We take a lot of very negative comments from a lot of people all during the year. However, we see the culmination of our work. And the truth is that when the folks from Lakeland came, the honor students from Lakeland came, 104 honor students came before us. We saw them, and their names flashed before us. The proud principal there, Lori White, shared with us that they had already gotten $4 million in scholarship offers. When I was on Tuesday night, when I was over at Kings Fork High School, the students over there got $9.8 million in scholarship offers as of Tuesday night. Now, I have not heard from Dr. Green, but I'm looking forward to hearing. Nansen River, all right, it looks like $11 million, or $11 million in scholarships for students at Nansen River High School. So as many negative comments as people have to share, I have news for you. The numbers speak for themselves. People can say whatever they have to say, and nobody really cares about us up here, in truth. I go into schools on a regular basis, and when I go into schools, the funny thing is, even when I was chair, and I've been on the board 11 years, the funny thing is, depending on who's sitting at the desk at the time that I go in, they don't have a clue as to who I am. And I'll ask when I go into schools, and they ask, who are you and what do you want? Because they do ask that. Sometimes I have to point to the picture on the wall, because it's really funny because my picture's right there in the front office, and it's been there for 11 years. I'll have to say who I am. So while it's wonderful to work with everybody, we all represent 7 different boroughs. Suffolk is a very diverse city, and people have very diverse interests and problems, issues, and whatever. We may not all go out for coffee together, but the truth is we have conducted Suffolk's business every day of this year and every day of the 11 years that I've been on the board. It's wonderful when everything is wonderful, but the truth is business is conducted on a regular basis. Our bills are paid, our staff is doing well, and it's evident that our students have done well because, let me see, 11 and 9 is 20, plus 8 plus 4, let's see, 4.8, $24.8 million. That's quick calculation, but let's say $25 million speaks for itself. So anyone who has anything negative to say about me and anybody else, I have news for you. The numbers speak. The data speak. Have a blessed evening, and I want to thank the Suffolk employees and the students and the parents for the work that they do. And I could care less about all the other noise. I wish that the City Council had supported us with the monies that we requested for safety. I believe and have written in the Suffolk News Herald that we have a lot of budget season distractions when people don't want to give us the money. Many of the people who step forward and make angry quotes and say all sorts of things that have nothing to do with student achievement and nothing to do with employee needs and 54 cents and any of the other things that might be an issue. The truth is, if we can work together and get the things that we need to get, whether it's in harmony or disharmony, I beg the state, I beg the federal government, and I beg the local government for the things that we need for Suffolk Public Schools. And in the 11 years that I've been on the board, so far it's been pretty effective. God bless you all. I'm done.
Thank you, Dr. Brooke Buck. At this time, we will have board comments by Dr. Brittingham.
Good evening. What a busy month it has been here in Suffolk Public Schools, and I have been blessed to go to more events than I can keep up with at this point. I started the month of May going to the Teacher and Rookie Teacher of the Year banquet, which was amazing. What a conglomeration of wonderful educators we have. We are so blessed. Then on the 25th, I was able to go to the SPS retirement banquet, which again was fantastic, being able to recognize all of these seasoned educators. And I'd like to give a shout out to Lakeland High School retiree Anita Fisher. Congratulations for 20 years of service to Suffolk Public Schools. June 1st, I was able to go to the CCAP and NTHS induction ceremony, which was phenomenal. I got to see these kids come forward in CCAP in the different areas that they've been working hard in and get their honors award for how hard they'd worked. Shout out to Mr. Skinner and to Mrs. Burgess. What a wonderful event, and I can't wait to go to that again next year. June 3rd, I was able to go to the Early Education Art Show. Oh my gracious, our 4-year-olds are so talented. I really enjoyed that, and Miss Neighbors partnered with an incredible team over there to make that such a wonderful Saturday morning adventure for me, and I look forward to the expansion of that next year. We need to invest in the fine arts in our young children and our children across Suffolk Public Schools. June 6th, I was able to go to the support staff banquet, which was wonderful to see how we recognize the support staff because they are just as important as the teachers are. And then I left quickly from there so that I could go to Lakeland High School Senior Award Night because let me tell you what, we got it going on over there at Lakeland High School, and a shout out to Mrs. Principal White and her administrative team and how they put together that award ceremony. It was amazing. 5 students there had over $1 million worth of scholarships. 5. I was like, that is incredible. That was amazing to see. They will probably have by Saturday $11 million worth of scholarships because those scholarships are still coming in. And I just want to congratulate them for their project Lead the Way awardees that are participating that at Lakeland High School and the STEM Century authors that were part of Lakeland High School. Amazing. So congratulations, seniors, you made it. You've worked hard. This is it. I will see you Saturday so I can watch you guys walk and get your diplomas. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, Board Member Brittingham. At this time, we're going to have remarks by Vice Chair Howell.
Good evening. I feel like by the time it gets to me, there's nothing left to say without being redundant, but I will echo what's been said about all the people that we have recognized, and you have heard from Dr. Brittingham that May is a busy month, and June has started off as such. I've participated in some VSBA trainings in May in regards to our committee development, which we'll be working on this summer. Stay tuned for those details, and please find a way to participate. Also, teacher retention and recruitment is a nationwide, let's be honest, a nationwide issue. And so I was trying to pick and choose between all the webinars that really hit home for me and how I can be impactful up here. And then finally, a budget and finance training with Dr. Thornton, actually at the VSBA office. That was also very informative. Having been to all the award things that you've heard, I did not attend Lakeland and Kings Fork. I'm a Warrior. I represent the Warriors. I went to the Warrior Award Show last night, and just overnight, Dr. Green, we've somehow magically earned another $1 million. That is amazing, because as of last night, it was around 10. A special congratulations to the Warrior baseball and softball programs. Those are special to my heart, having been a part of that through my family. They are actually are they in Leesburg tonight? They're in Leesburg. They play tomorrow morning. Well, the baseball team plays tomorrow at 10, so cheer them on from here. I want to comment, one young lady, since Board Member Jenkins referenced one of her students, I wasn't sure if it was okay, but I will. Samantha Murray last night walked the stage multiple times with an exceptional amount of effort. She's an honor graduate and received several awards last night at Nansemond River. And so if you'll be at graduation Saturday, I believe Nansemond River's at noon, look for that young lady who was happily marching up the stairs and across the stage at her own pace. She did it. And so I commend her and her team, because I know that she has a tribe and a village behind her. I want to congratulate the Access Scholarship winners. One of the winners, Emma Harsh, is the daughter of someone that I graduated with, which is sometimes hard to swallow when you're sitting in the audience and you don't feel like you've been out of high school yourself for almost 30 years. The STEM Century authors, James McFarland, was also one of the students that represented Suffolk Public Schools at the prayer breakfast, and he offered up a prayer in early May. Amazing, astounding speaker, and the poise that he had as a young man. So it is not surprising that he's part of this STEM Century book that's being published. Dr. Boone, and I know Mr. Rouse, you echoed some of the same sentiments. I wholeheartedly agree that we must set our egos aside, our personal to-do lists, stop trying to prove a point, and put the kids back at the center of every single conversation, email, text message, and agenda that we put forth. My pastor once said in a message he was delivering, ask yourself the question, are you trying to prove a point or improve a relationship? And that'll guide your steps. And so, in agreement with you, I am trying, and I won't stop trying, and God willing, these baby steps that I see behind the scenes will become bigger ones eventually. To the kiddos out there, you do not have permission to stop reading just because it is summer. You can read less, but you need to read every day. And I can't tell you enough how much that will impact you for the rest of your life. Parents, they are almost back to you guys. So go ahead and get a good nap in these next couple weeks, because they're coming home. Thank you all that are here this evening. Thank you to my fellow board members that we keep on trucking no matter how much fun it is or it isn't. And I will see you all at graduation and then again in July.
Thank you, Vice Chair Howell. This is one of my favorite times of the school year. This is the time where it is nothing but celebration for me. I can't speak for no one else. For me, it's nothing but celebrations. You get to celebrate all of your students, all of your staff, and you get an opportunity to reinforce exactly how much your staff means to you. Because at the end of the day, and I say this, I think, in every speech I gave for the last 2 weeks, it's 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, Jesus. But you can run a city without a board, but we cannot run a school division without our support staff, without our teachers. But if you want to be successful, you got to work together. And we are human. To err is human. To forgive is divine. So it is what it is. We know what we got to do. Let's just do the work and move forward. At this time, the next item on our agenda is a motion to go in closed session.
A motion is needed to go into a closed meeting to discuss the following items and subjects. The discussion and/or consideration regarding disciplining members of the Suffolk City School Board for alleged violations of school board norms and protocols, to wit. Number 1, School Board Policy Section 2-2.6:1A1, by failing to speak courteously and listen to dissenting or different opinions, to help each other depersonalize disagreements, and to support the will of the school board. Number 2, School Board Policy Section 2-2.6:1A2, by representing the school board without the consent of the school board and having made statements on social media posts, but failed to state that the statements were their own opinion and not that of the school board. Number 3, School Board Policy Section 2-2.6:1A4, by failing to maintain awareness of the different roles the school board members play, such as board member, citizen, parent, etc. Number 4, School Board Policy Section 2-2.6:1A5, by not focusing on work as a school board member and interfering with the day-to-day operations of Suffolk Public Schools, which is the delegated responsibility of the school superintendent. And number 5, School Board Policy Section 2-2.6:1B10.4, by failing to indicate on social media posts that the board member was not communicating as an individual member of the school board and that statements reflected the school board's own views and not necessarily the official position of the school board or that of Suffolk Public Schools. If a violation of school board policy is found to have occurred, the school board will also discuss in the closed meeting whether board members should be issued a verbal warning for such violations as provided for by School Board Policy 2-2.6:1C, which is authorized by Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A1 of the Code of Virginia as amended.
At this time, board members, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session. Is there a motion? Is there a second? The motion has been made by Board Member Slingloff and second by Board Member Brittingham. Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Buck?
Thank you. The initial motion was the initial concern, alleged concern, was made and then publicized. The purpose of the closed session is supposed to be for confidentiality. That has been breached. It was breached more than once. It was breached by the initial complainant, then again breached during a policy review committee meeting, and live streamed by the person who stood before us and gave details after FOIAing information after the policy was sent around. So having the closed session makes absolutely no sense to me because it's already been breached. The purpose is for confidentiality and it's been breached. That's the object of the initial closed session as we wrote the policy several years ago. When I responded to the initial breach, by saying someone else would be also claimed, also charged, or there would be an alleged grievance against someone else, it was breached again. So it's been breached so many times, it makes absolutely no sense, in my opinion, to go into a closed session. I believe, as I've said earlier, the public is not interested in concerns, banter. The truth is, none of this has anything to do with Suffolk Public Schools business. It has nothing to do with student achievement. Information about whatever has nothing to do with our daily operations. And as I look at what is important for us, the facts are these. One of the 7 schools in the Commonwealth of Virginia identified as a blue ribbon school is in Suffolk. That means that we're in the top 10% of American schools right now. It doesn't suggest that we are dysfunctional as a board or that we have in any way negatively impacted the schools. 2 of the choice programs in the United States, as you've heard earlier this evening, our biomedical training program at Lakeland and our engineering program at Nansemond River have maintained their top status. At the last board meeting, we talked about money, the $4 million, and we talked today about at least $25 million our students have earned in scholarships. That, to me, is what is important about the job that we have to do. Our systems thrived under the leadership of Dr. Darren Whitney, and all schools were fully accredited using old and new standards. And Dr. Gordon has taken us to new and even higher heights. We've reached state and national levels never before experienced. In spite of this contrived chaos, our school division has performed exceptionally well. A closed session to bring the same 2-star witnesses back from irrelevance to relevance will serve no purpose. We have seen this poorly enacted reality show already, and I can only hope that we vote not to fall for the same one-trick pony again. I feel sorry for anyone who spends their time trying to harass me and follow my life, because I hate to break it to you. It's really not that interesting. So, Mr. Chairman, I just see no need to do this. I think it's a waste of time. Thank you.
Is there any additional discussion? There being none. Well, before we do that, I'm going to say my point, and then we're going to go to the vote. I gave an opportunity for this foolishness to be settled 45 plus days ago because it had nothing to do with student achievement. And there are some people who want to see a circus. And I am no elephant, I am no tiger, I'm no bear, and I'm certainly not the ringmaster. We are here to do the business of the schools. And if you're not here to do the business of positively impacting Suffolk Public Schools for the embetterment of the quality of education for these 14,000 plus students, reevaluate why you're here. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll? Well, do the vote thing. Everybody vote?
The minus sign is no. I've never done it.
It's a tie.
In the case of a tie, the motion dies. Next item on the business is, we don't even need a resolution, correct?
Oh, I didn't see the vote.
Oh.
It just showed up. Okay.
Yep. It's dead. Next item on the agenda is, we don't need a certification of closed meeting.
Because it didn't happen.
No action is taken. The rest of the items are informational. As you review those informational items, please, let's get out of our own way, focus on the children, and let's have a happy and enjoyable weekend. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? All right, The motion has been doubly made by Board Member Brittingham and Board Member Brooks Buck, and second by Board Member Jenkins. Madam Clerk?
Board members, please vote.
Yeah. We ain't leave yet. Y'all going. We got the room to 12. Y'all got to stay here with us. Madam Clerk? Oh.
Motion passed.
All right, the motion carried. This meeting is hereby adjourned.